Hello, this is Marianne, one of the action training specialists here on MNL 12. So I will be the one discussing to you about this presentation. Okay, so a little bit about myself so that you can get to know me. I have been with Amazon since last May 2019. I have been with three companies, including Amazon. So I will not name the other two, just for. And I have been with Amazon for like a year and 10 months to be exact 17 days also. So that's it. And also, something peculiar about me is I have a collection of lipsticks that I don't ever wear or use. And the last time that I bought a lipstick or I hoarded lipstick was um, if I'm not mistaken, last week only for a Careline 38 pesos sale and also the Everbelena. I hoarded a lot of lipstick because I really like to stare at them, especially if I get lonely. I like to see the colors. Yeah, that's how I usually cure my loneliness. Or if I get stressed, I stare at my lipstick because it brightens up your day, right? So that's it all for me. That's it about me. So how about you guys? I see. Well, that's great. At least I get to know you better. So, guys, are we all complete? If you are present, put a +1 on your chat box or on the chat box, okay? Perfect. So now we're going to proceed with the discussion of the mystery of cocoa. That's our discussion for today. In this discussion, you will learn more about the harvesting of cocoa, plucking and opening of the pod, and also the fermenting and the drying of the seeds. To start with, I just want to know: is any one of you allergic to chocolate? I hope not. I hope not, and like not anyone in this class is allergic to one. Okay, that's great. At least no one is allergic. So the next question will be, what's your favorite chocolate-based dessert and why? Okay, so anyone, guys, can anyone answer? Okay. How about you, Rose? Can you tell me more? Can you tell me your favorite chocolate-based dessert and why? I see. Well, thank you for that, Rose. Yeah, especially if you're going to eat the chocolate with the chocolate syrup. That's really good. No, I know. That's my favorite food also. That's my favorite chocolate-based dessert because if you're going to, especially if you're lonely, that's my comfort food. I just eat chocolate Rocky Road flavored ice cream and it will all get better. Yeah. So thank you for that one, Rose. How about you, Fatima? Mm, I see. Yeah, that's good. Also, chocolate cake. Yeah, that's really yummy. I have this favorite chocolate cake also. The one made for chocolate or the one made by chocolate, the Death by Tablia. That's very good. It's made for rice flour and also it is the frosting is um it consists of the tablia and it kind of tastes bitter but it's kind of sweet also, so it complements everything. That's great. Thank you for that one, Fatima. So at least all of us are since I got to know the answers, at least most of us, not all are actually have their own favorite chocolate dessert, right? That's great. So if that's the case, let's dive in on how the odd-looking fruit, which is the cocoa, turns into the culinary gold, which is the chocolate. So first step into doing it is harvesting the cocoa, right? Yeah. Chocolate production starts with harvesting of the cocoa in the forest. Cocoa comes from the tropical evergreen cocoa trees, such as the Theobroma cocoa, which grows in the wet lowland tropics of Central and South America, West Africa, and also Southeast Asia. It's within the 20 Celsius of the equator. So, cocoa needs to be harvested manually in the forest. The seed pods of the cocoa will be first collected. The beans will be selected and placed in piles. These cocoa beans will be then ready to be shipped to the manufacturer for mass production. Sorry. Yeah. So that's how you harvest the cocoa. Are you all guys following? If you have questions, guys, feel free to reach out to me right away, okay? Perfect. So next, we'll proceed with the plucking and also the opening of the cocoa beans. So the cocoa beans grow in pods that sprout off the trunk and also the branches of the cocoa trees. So they're not really a bean at all. The pods are almost at the size of the football or American football. And then the pods that start out green and also it turns into orange once it's ripe. So when the pods are ripe, harvesters travel through the cocoa orchard with machete and also hack the pods gently off the trees. And so it's being done manually. So since it cannot be done by machine because that will damage, the beans and also the cocoa. So it could not be done by machine. So for that one, they split open the cocoa beans and also the cocoa beans is being removed. Pods can contain upward of 50 cocoa beans each. Fresh cocoa beans are not brown at all. So they do not taste sweet chocolate that they will be eventually produced. So it's at the first time or at the time that they're going to be harvested, it's not brown, it's white, and then they don't taste sweet. From what I've heard, it tastes bitter. So it's not yet chocolate. They're still producing it. Okay. So all good, guys. Do you have questions? Okay, I see. Perfect. Okay, so let's proceed. Next is the fermenting of the seeds. So now the beans undergo the fermentation process, and then part of the process is to get the outer somewhat gelatinous cover of each bean. So they are either placed in a large shallow heated trays, or they put in, or like they're being covered by the large banana leaves. So it should hold the heat, and that's what we want so that it will be fermented. So workers come along periodically to stir them up, and this allow the beans to come out equally fermented. This usually happens like the fermentation usually happens like 5 to 8 days. That depends on the climate condition. So imagine how long it will take for you to get your chocolate, right? 5 to 8 days just for the fermenting, right? So after the seeds must be dried before they can be scooped into the sacks and shipped to the chocolate manufacturer. If that's the case, we'll proceed with the drying of the seeds now. Okay? So in the simplest scenario, farmers simply spread the fermented seeds in the tray and leave them to the sun to dry. But sometimes it can be done, but sometimes other manufacturers is doing this via machine. So for that one, many farmers do it by the drying machine, and that usually takes a little as a day. But for the sun drying, it usually takes a week. So that's why it's not being a lot of farmers usually opt to do the drying machine so that it will take like a little time. Okay, so that's it. That's how you do the chocolate, the cocoa production. Do you have questions? Are you all good, guys? Are you sleepy? It's okay, guys. We're almost done. Yeah. So we're almost done, so sit back, okay? Perfect. So now in the conclusion, chocolate is a product that requires surprisingly complex procedures to produce. So imagine the time and also the effort that is being done in just producing the cocoa, not the chocolate yet, just the cocoa. Okay, so in this training or in this discussion, we were able to learn about the harvesting of cocoa and also the plucking and the opening of the pod and also the fermenting and the drying of the seeds. Okay, so if do you have questions, guys? Okay, so if you don't have questions, um, are you sure you don't have questions about all of the steps? Because if you don't, then I'll be the one asking questions. Okay? Okay, so you don't have questions. So here's my question for you. Since we discussed all about the steps that is needed to produce a cocoa, which of those do you think is the hardest thing to do or time consuming, and why? Anyone? How about you, Mark? Mark, can you tell me which of those steps do you think is the hardest thing to do or the time consuming, and why? Okay. Yeah, that's. Mhm. Oh, that's great. Yeah, that's really awesome. Yeah. So yes, that's correct. That's very good because if you're going to think about it, if you harvest the cocoa, you will need to bear with the sun while you're doing the plucking and the harvesting very gently so that you won't damage it, right? So, yeah, if you have the sun as your enemy and then you need to do it gently, that is strength consuming, and also it will consume all of your strength and also all of your energy. So yes, that's very good. Thank you for that. How about Cyril? Okay, so yes, also that's correct. Drying of the beans is very hard also since um a little or not a little, but some of the farmers opt to do it sun dried. So they need to dry all of the beans, and then once it rains they need to get it out, right? So yeah, that's very good, very good. So anyone else? If none, then that's the end of our discussion. We are right on time, just 3 minutes left, and that will be the end of our shift. Okay, so tidy up your things, guys, and make sure to check all of your valuables, and then get your Zuki and also your headset. And see you tomorrow. Rest well, take care, and bye.